Okay, I'm locked in. Every single day I be locked in. Focused all the way, man, I'm locked in. From the time I wake, I be locked in. I don't need no break. Okay. Let's play. Okay. I say ain't nothing but my grind on my mind. See, we started with nothing, then we climb, then we gonna keep ducking till we finally shine. Indeed, I keep them ducking, baby, time after time. I say ain't nothing but my grind.
Welcome back to another episode of Ravens Roundup. What's good, people? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. It's going to be one of them days. This is going to be one of those vent sessions that may be one of them episodes, because there's a lot of crap that went on that wasn't up to the standard, and a lot of blame going around. Some of it's well-deserved. I feel like some of it might be misplaced. But I'm excited to see what these guys have to say and see if they saw anything different from me on the game. So before we get started, obviously the Ravens lost 38-30. Don't seem like a one-score game, but it was. So with all that went wrong, they still had an opportunity to try to, make it a game in the fourth quarter, but they didn't. Stats-wise, we know they rushed for 224. Was 225, but Jared Goff took a knee, and they pretty much gave it to us right down, like we had to take it. There wasn't no fighting back. We like what the meme is, fight back. We did. We did. Right. So what we got Kerry from Deep Cover Podcast with us today. We got Sudden Purple Rain Podcast, and we got Jose from Lunch Break Hot Take. Chris won't be joining us today, and if he do, it'll be later on. So it'll be us four taking you through Ravens Roundup today. So what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's good?
Doing well, man.
Yo, what's going on, man? Besides this loss, I'm good.
Yeah.
and before we get into the questions, just each one of you guys, just give us your quick thoughts about just in totality, nothing necessarily specific, but thoughts about the game.
I guess I'll start. I really just think that there's a lot of cause for concern coming out of this game. Multiple things that went down in this one really kind of have you raise an eyebrow about the future of this team. And when I say the future, I just mean specifically this season. As we know, the Ravens Super Bowl window was supposed to be perfectly open for Lamar and company to hop on through and get over that hump this year. But the things that we saw against the Lions on Monday night really don't seem conducive to championship football. So I'm concerned right now, and the outlook, the current outlook on the team is a little bit more bleak than it was last week. I'll say that. But yeah, that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, and for me, it's just another reminder of, you see these nationally televised games, these night games, and the opposing sideline looks more poised. They are making the big time calls here and there. They aren't making the mistakes that are leading to bat breaking plays as far as turnovers and different things. So it's kind of like, okay, when is enough going to be enough with some of this stuff? That's just the big picture takeaway from me is like, come on, man. Like at some point you have to decide enough is enough.
Yeah, look, I'm just disappointed, man. Like, you guys, if you watch our channel, you know how we feel about building around defense. We don't think they should be investing in defense that heavy.
What's your hashtag?
Hashtag defund the defense. But look, look, Lamar's a star. Lamar's a star, right? Like, he's the one at the end of the day. That's who you're expecting to carry us to a victory. And if you don't support him with protection, you don't give him the right weapons, then you're doing it wrong, because there's nobody on the defensive side of the ball that can set the tone the way Lamar can. There's nobody on that side of the ball that can make a play like Lamar can. And all the money we invested in that side of the ball, the draft picks, the top draft picks and everything, we're the worst defense in the league. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had high hopes for this defense, right? It may not be built the way I want the team to be built. It doesn't matter. Like, I expect them to play well. And prime time again, to see them give up points like that, man, 38 points. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Disappointed, man.
I think disappointed it would be an understatement for a bunch of us.
Yeah.
You as far as me, you can't take that type of pounding and not try something.
Yeah.
That's my biggest frustration. You can't take that type of pounding and not try something. The lack of adjustments, and I try not to be on the fire. Like I say, I always try not to be on the fire coaches thing, because I don't want that karma to come back to me if I ever go back out there. So I try not to say it, even though I think it. But I'm on the verge of saying it now because something has to change. Something now, because last year we gave up all them yards in the air. Now they run the ball on us, but we'll get into the gist of it with our first set of questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw our first question up there, and we'll get started. And since it's only 4 of us, we'll just kind of bounce off of all of them. Remove that. Add this. There we go. All right. So first one. How did Detroit's rushing attack? And we know Jamar and David Montgomery. Montgomery had the big runs, the big yardage night, and Jamar didn't, but he was consistent on his little runs. But I think we held him to like 3 yards. But what happened for that consistently broke through in y'all's eyes? We'll start with you, Kerry.
So it was a few things. First and foremost, it was an indecisive Roquan. I think he set the tempo in the wrong way, starting out in that first drive. It just didn't see the intensity that I wanted to see. Coming off of last week, I guess the Ray Lewis exorcism didn't take this week because he just didn't have it. So I mean that really was huge. And then secondly, scheme wise, they played a lot of nickel, and I get it. I understand why they did it. When you got Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, you got that trio of guys as your short to intermediate passing game. You got to have the bodies to kind of match up with that. And I understand that from that standpoint. But like you said, Coach, that's when the adjustments come in. If they're looking at these soft fronts and you're already missing guys up front, they're looking at these soft fronts and they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to take these yards. I'm going to take this, and I have 2 bats that can do it. So I'm going to take this 6, 7, 8 yards and juxtaposed to the other side, where the Lions are staying in base with 3 linebackers on the field, even when the Ravens were in 11 personnel. And they knew, hey, we're going to give up some stuff sometime, but we're going to be sound against their running game. We're going to be sound against their QB running game. And then we're going to, work off of that, stand some guys up, do some different things. To see that from a rookie defensive coordinator on one end, who's also dealing with injuries on the defensive line, and then on the Ravens side, you have a defensive coordinator that's in his second year. Yeah, he has some injuries on the defensive line as well, but to see him not be able to kind of find those answers was basically made the game, and that was super disheartening to see, because like I said last week with him, he got to call the game from a place of comfort. But I didn't go on here and tell anybody that he called a great game or he suddenly figured all this stuff out. He got to call the game from a place of comfort. He didn't have that comfort this week, and you saw the results.
Agreed. Jose?
Yeah, I saw somebody flashed a stat in our chat last night. It said that the Ravens had 20 missed tackles. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Is that true? They had 20 missed tackles in that game.
I'll find out why you're talking.
Yeah, I saw the same one.
I mean, look, I have a lot of criticism about this coaching staff, but missed tackles, that's a player thing. That's an attitude thing, right? You have to show up, even if you're not quite sure what the scheme is. You don't. You're
18.
18.
Mhm.
Jesus, that's too many, right? That's too many. Like, the one thing that you can control is your tackling, right? There could be miscommunication. You could be, out of place, but you can tackle. And they weren't doing that last night, and that's completely unacceptable for this defense. Like Kerry said, Roquan not setting the tone. He has to be that guy. He has to be the guy that's going to discourage them from running up the middle. He needs to be the one that lay a hit and say, hey, if we come this way, it's going to be problems. And too many times he's just standing there flat-footed when the ball's coming his way. He's doing these short, choppy steps like he's indecisive in what he wants to do. And a team like that, they know what's going on. They can smell the fear on you, right? And they're going to give it to you.
Linemen.
Yeah. So, I mean, missed tackles, the attitude. I mean, just hearing the players after the game. We talked about it offline, but hearing Marlon Humphrey, saying how the team was talking to each other and they didn't have any answers. They didn't know what was going on. That, I mean, they got to do something to get there to get the right mentality up, because the defense that we want this team to be, they had a take no prisoner mentality, man. They gave you absolutely nothing. They would tell you there's no offense out there that they can't figure out, and there's nobody that could run on that defense that we want this defense to be.
Yeah, and I definitely think I agree with both of you guys' points, but I definitely think that this one, and I've kind of been thinking about this throughout the entire day, this loss feels more demoralizing than the Bills loss to me.
Yes.
And I know that we kind of left the Bills game with a little bit of a moral victory of like, okay, we put up 40 points. We were kind of stuffing them for most of the game. They just got really hot at the end. They were at home. They came back. They won. Whoop-de-doo, right? Josh Allen was the MVP, whatever. But this one here feels a lot different, only because the Ravens had some very, very uncharacteristic things happen to them. As you guys can see on screen, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, they absolutely torched the Ravens. Specifically, David Montgomery. I know he had a 72-yard run, but I don't really like when people say, oh, the 72-yard run kind of inflates the stats. I don't care. I don't care about that because it matters. I saw multiple other plays. Exactly. He got it. And by the way, I saw multiple other plays where he was just straight up gashing the defense. Maybe it wasn't for 72 yards, but it was for 6. It was for 8. It was for 11. You know what I mean? And like those things add up. And I think he ended the game.
So what about the other
12 yards
yards?
of carry?
Yeah, right.
Right.
So
like, come on.
Take the 72 one out of there. So he got 11 for 80 something. That's still 11 yards.
Yeah, and we're talking, like you said, Coach, I mean, 224 yards rushing on the Ravens is unheard of. Yep. Absolutely unheard of. It just hasn't happened. I don't think it hasn't happened in the Lamar Jackson era. Is that correct?
I would agree with you. Chat box, people in the chat, y'all Google and Chat GPT Kings. Let us know.
Because it was either that or the Ravens haven't gone 2 consecutive games without rushing for 100 yards, which also happened in this one too. True. Both of these things, and you talk about the defense as a whole. I want to talk about Nnamdi Madubuike just for a hot second. Him not being in this game was just such a major impact. Reason being is because I'm a big fan of Travis Jones, but as good as Travis Jones is, he's not whooping tail on double teams consistently. He's not beating double teams. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen. And they were just doubling him up all last night. It was really like it kind of took him out of the game, And I saw your video, Coach, that you posted online about Roquan Smith not filling that gap, you know what I mean? And kind of getting washed out of the play. It's certain things like that, you know what I mean? And I understand the whole defund the defense thing more today than I have ever in my tenure as a Ravens fan. So shout out to the lunch break hot take community, because they came up with that a couple of years ago. And it still rings true today, because I mean, when you have what is it, like over 40, it's something crazy, a crazy amount of cap space is allocated towards the defense. You got like 10 all pros between those guys on the defense. You got multiple first round picks on their recent first round picks. And it just seems like they're not stacking up against any unit really. I mean, the Browns last week, like my guy Kerry said, like we were coaching from, and I think this was just kind of overall, we were kind of coaching and playing from a spot of confidence and confidence and comfortability, right? We're playing against a team that we know very well. They're kind of like the little brothers to us in the division, so we know how to kind of neutralize them. This on prime time for the Detroit Lions to walk into the bank and run all over the Ravens and then just nickel and dime them down the field whenever they needed a pass. We were basically waiting for Jared Goff. Our only way to get the Lions off the field was hoping Jared Goff made a bad throw.
Yep.
And put them behind the chains. That was it.
Yep.
Or a penalty. That was it. Other than that, we couldn't stop the run. And I'm sure we'll get into it later, but I'll end here. That's why, and I think we kind of started talking about it, but that's why I don't agree with the coaching down the stretch in letting the defense continue to go out there and get their butts whipped when you have a $240 million quarterback on the other side who was very frustrated tonight or last night as well. I'm sure we'll talk about that too, but it's just all around loss. There's enough blame to go around, and it's just I don't really know where you go from here. I mean, if the players don't know where to go from here, how are we supposed to feel as fans?
Exactly. And you just kind of led us into the second question, which says what was missing in Baltimore's front seven, especially with injuries to Madubuike and Kyle Van Noy. And I'm gonna piggyback off of your answer to start this one. I think even if Madubuike is there, because of how soft Roquan and was playing, I think it's the same thing. Maybe Beaks does a little bit more against single blocks because Travis was getting double teamed so much, but I don't think it's too much different with Madubuike in there because the linebacker play wasn't good. And if you saw some of those steal shots that I put on Twitter, we're at the goal line and we got Marlon Humphreys at Mike, and we got Teddy on like an edge on a tight end or something. What? You got you in nickel on the goal line. You got Malachi Starks right on top of a tight end on the 2-yard line. What? It's 2nd and 1. I just did a video on it. It'll be out tomorrow. The members saw it. It was 2nd and 1, and we were playing with two eyes, and that's a bubble right in the middle. Jared Goff just snapped the ball and fell forward.
Yeah, I do remember that play. Yeah, it's embarrassing stuff, man.
I could see if it was effort and like they just physically whooped us. That's schematic stuff. That's schematic. And I've been quick. I've been not on the Zach Orr train. I'm concerned, and I don't know if he can do it train now. I ain't saying fire him yet, but I'm officially concerned with some of those lineups that I saw out there. And not even play, just the matching of personnel.
See, Coach, when we had our Super Bowl run, we had players on the team that can mitigate the bad coaching. So when plays like that were called, you had Ray, you had Ed Reed out there to be like, no, we're not
getting a zero.
Yeah. Right. And listening to Anquan Bolden on that podcast talk about the mutiny, a lot of that was what caused it was them saying we're not running the plays that you guys are calling. That's you're calling the wrong plays a lot of times. We're not doing that. Right. So that was veterans out there that played at a high level, that understood the game at a high level, that were like, we're gonna run it the way we want to run it. We know what we're doing out there. Even I've heard Harbaugh say it before when he saw Ed Reed, get a pick six, and he was just like, yo, like, how'd you know? Because like you weren't even where you're supposed to be. He's like, I watched tape. Like we had those had those players on the team, and all I have to say is John Harbaugh has had time to grow into his position. He's had time to get a coaching staff here that should be able to actually coach these guys up. Like these guys shouldn't have to beat Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. They should be good young players that have great coaching. They had that with Mike McDonald. And if you coach them well, they'll be able to execute. But they're not being coached up well. They're confused out there, and that leads to indecisiveness, even with tackling. So,
wow. You want to add to it, Kerry?
Yeah, I mean, to me, and I don't want to, just dog Zach Orr, but I'm with you as far as they're concerned, because this is a team that already, despite the money and the draft picks they've put into the defense, they're short on disruptors.
Mm,
And one of the disruptors they do have, Matabike, was out.
right.
So when you don't have the individual guys, it comes back to scheme.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the players to elevate, then the coordinator has to elevate it.
Yep.
And so right now we're not getting it on either end. And to me, I know it's not front seven, but it's illuminated based off the matchup yesterday. Not having that third safety that you can trust to play like real snaps
Mm-hmm.
really stands out in a matchup like this. Again, like I say, with Gibbs, Amon-Ra, and Laporta, those three guys, you need some dudes in there, to defend them. And so not being able to bring Kyle up and man him up on one of those guys, that hurts. And so you got Marlon, who, Marlon, obviously, I don't think he's 100%. He's dealing with an injury. Marlon is a guy that is more inclined to be able to, play against a big slot, a tight end. Not necessarily saying that he can't play one of the shifty wide receivers, but that's not his strong suit. So I was already coming in, a little concerned that he was playing kind of banged up and going up against an Amon-Ra St. Brown. So that was already a bad matchup, to start with. But when he's really the only option, because you can't really bring Kyle down there too much,
Right.
Because you need him on the back end. And so, again, fans were clamoring over, a third safety, and you see why. It was because, when Kyle is down there, Kyle makes stuff happen. He's a disruptor.
Sure do.
So, not be able to tap into that, it was a big problem yesterday.
And so before we go into the next one, honestly, on defense, how many disruptors y'all think we got? I say 2.
Matt and Hamilton.
Yeah.
I would say just those 2 right there. I mean, if some of the DBs, some of the Nate Wiggins, and I know he had a pick last week, or if Marlon Humphrey can kind of turn the clocks back and start making some plays and start forcing some turnovers against big teams in big moments, then I would say, we have some more disruptors. But for right now, you're right. It's literally just Nnamdi Madubuike. Sadly, it's nowhere near a Roquan Smith right now, even though he played really well last week. And again, a comfortable game, which we got to keep bringing that up now at this point. But other than that, Kyle Hamilton. But Kyle Hamilton, he graded really low yesterday. I didn't really see too much from him either.
It's and the offense was not what the Detroit offense is way more competent than the Browns offense too.
Way more.
So the way they was hitting that duo and working them double teams and coming up and then on top of the fact that he wasn't being aggressive, it was a recipe for disaster. And I just don't understand. Okay, you see third quarter, you see my linebackers ain't playing down here like they're supposed to. Put a freaking nose in the game to at least make them do something else. If you put a nose in the game and they start hurting you in the passing game, you stop the original plan. So you made them do something different. But you just let them keep giving it to you and keep giving it to you. You ain't even turn around and say, hold on or slow up or nothing. They just kept ramming. Which is wild to me.
It was bad. It was really bad when I saw, I think it was like maybe late third quarter, early fourth quarter. They're just running the ball all up and down the field. It was a play where I saw like John Jenkins, like literally just like last ditch effort, try to grab a guy by the waist when he was already past him and try to drag him down. And it was just sad to see, because it's like, wow, this is really what our run defense looks like right now. And as a Ravens fan, you're not used to that. So it was very jarring.
Yeah, funny. Jake says
this is crazy. No, that's crazy though.
So the second one I have, and we'll flip to the offense a little bit. Why was the offensive line repeatedly beaten? Lamar had 7 sacks, which is I can't ever remember him having that many sacks. What was going on up front?
Do you guys put that all on the O-line? Because some of those I felt like you could have got rid of the ball, or he could have ran. I don't put that 100% on the O-line.
No, don't let our guy hear you. He was in a pickle this morning, boy. Horace had Nitro in a pickle this morning, and I think for the most part he was just messing with him. But he had Nitro in a pickle about throwing the ball away. And I agree with you. Some of them he probably could have held on to the ball too long, but I haven't had the opportunity on the sacks to see what the routes were.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I need to, and I'll probably do it after we finish. I need to go see what the routes were before I can say, hey, he had the opportunity to get rid of it or whatnot. Because Lamar will hold it trying to get his guys open. But if he's ready to throw and they still running their routes, ain't much to do. So I tip my hat because I ain't never seen nobody spy Lamar like they did. And they didn't even necessarily use like a fast person.
Yeah. Right. Man. I mean, I thought they did a really good job at containing Lamar and like kind of keeping him within the pocket and just kind of hunting until somebody finally got to his legs, which happened multiple times in yesterday's game. But no, I do tend to agree more so with Jose. I'm leaning that way. Like, bro, you're Lamar Jackson. Like, get out of the pocket. If you see that, and I think the kind of what they're saying is, and from what I've seen online so far, because I haven't went and rewatched the whole game myself, is that some of those routes were longer developing routes, so it forced Lamar Jackson to kind of hold the ball for an extra second or two. But if that's the case, man, it's like use some of that special running ability. And I don't know if, not to say that he's losing some of it, because I don't think that that's the case necessarily, but like it's just sometimes it feels like, well, I don't know if he's preserving himself because it's so early in the season, and we normally see by the time it's postseason, Lamar Jackson just miraculously pops up banged up. You know what I mean? There's always something going on. So maybe he's conserving himself, but like in those moments, bro, you have to call on your legs, Lamar. If you're not going to throw downfield. Yeah. I
did see one play. It was your boy Voorhees. He did the John Simpson thing where his back was turned to the defense and he's looking at Lamar, and Lamar, you could tell Lamar's like, turn around and block the guy in front of me so I can run. And he just didn't turn around. Like there's a defender behind you. Your back is to him, and you're looking at your quarterback like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Like, no, man.
But see, here's the thing though, Jose. I do want to shoot the O-line a little bit of bail though, because with the type of scrambling quarterback that Lamar Jackson is, he can be on one side of the pocket and on the completely other side of the pocket. In terms of like the hashes and things like that in the middle of the field, he can be here and there in seconds, literally like milliseconds. So it's like, I think with those guys, sometimes when he's kind of like darting around and trying to reset a pocket multiple times in one play, some of those guys end up getting turned around sometimes. And, I thought that the offensive line, which is why I was agreeing with you when you first started your statement, like, I can't really put a lot of this on the O-line last night. I can't. I mean, the run blocking still isn't where it needs to be, because I'm tired of Derrick Henry getting hit in the backfield. That's ridiculous. But in terms of like pass protection, I thought more of the onus was on Lamar Jackson for not getting the ball out and not being as decisive as opposed to the O-line.
So 7 sacks, because I mean I still blame the O-line, right? Like I still blame the O-line. I'm sorry, I set you up there. I didn't mean to set you up like that. But
it's all good.
Out of the 7 sacks, like how many do you think was on Lamar? Because like I think like maybe 3 of them.
Yeah, I'd say 3, maybe 4 of those sacks. I know there was one late in the game where Aiden Hutchinson got off pretty clean. Yeah, and it was kind of like a testament to that's the difference right there. That's why the Ravens can't beat some of these good teams, because when they're rushing with 4 and they have a guy who can get home and generate immediate pressure, that makes all the difference, in stifling an offense. So, I can understand how you would blame the offensive line. There's definitely blame to go around for sure. But in that specific case, just because we've seen it before with Lamar Jackson and the happy feet and the kind of dancing around and being indecisive, I think he needs to clean that up, which is very fixable. And I think he'll fix that very soon.
Kier?
Yeah, I first want to give the Lions their due credit, because I thought that they were really, really disciplined in their rush lanes the whole night. You didn't see any, like, it was the whole night. And so they were able to collapse the pocket, and they didn't give Lamar those escape hatches. And that's why the spy was so effective. We've seen people spy Lamar before and not be effective at all. But because the rushing lanes were so tight, it gave him less kind of margin to get out.
Right.
So I think that definitely should be highlighted. But then too, I think at the same time, as good as Monken is, I do think we have to criticize him a bit here, because this Lions team stayed in their base 3 linebacker for a lot of the game.
Sure
and
did.
they were in cover 1 a lot of the game. And so we saw that one deep shot to Tez, and I think there were more opportunities for that downfield, even if the protection isn't pristine. But it just didn't really get called up that way. And this was a game where I say specifically they missed a guy like Likely, because Mark Andrews had a good game. Mark Andrews isn't a quick separator. He's more of a last minute separator, and they were able to get him isolated with Anzalone, and he beat Anzalone a couple times, but that kind of takes time to get to that.
Yeah.
Likely is a dude that can uncover quickly, and I think if he would have been in the game, I think they would have came out of that 3 linebacker base, because none of those guys that they have at linebacker are fleet of foot. They wouldn't have been able to match up with him one-on-one. They would have had to bring Joseph down, which would have, created some other things. But I definitely think Monken should have did a little more to attack downfield and to try to get them out of that 3 linebacker base, because I was shocked at how many plays that they remained in it when I rewatched it. It was crazy.
So they had, for those that don't know, they had their 4 D linemen, they had their 3 linebackers. 55 was kind of like their tweener type linebacker, and they had 3 safeties, and they only had 2 corners on the field. One of which, and I hate to say it because they're a local kid, is not very good at the moment. And D-Hop showed you that. And we didn't torch that young man like we should have. He should have been, like the water boy when the kicker was looking for, he said, "Oh, there's my, you know what," and they just went at him with the onside kick. He should have been that, especially after you saw what D-Hop did to him. And then I think that Tez's catch was on him too as well, wasn't it?
Yep.
So that deep catch, yeah.
They should have went at him like no other. So you mentioned about Mark and his separation. We know a lot of folks, well, not a lot of folks, Likely the first person don't really tackle Likely. And so Mark generated no missed tackles forced. And actually we only had 4 missed tackles forced, and Justice Hill generated 3 of them. The only other person that got another one was Rashad Bateman, which is well in the receiving game. I mean, we may have had some in the passing game. I mean, in the run game, because Derrick Henry was getting the ball and it was 8 people around his legs. But that's neither here nor there. But as far as them, the second question says, how did the pressure affect the passing and the timing? I simply for me is he stopped trusting the O-line at a certain point, and the long drops came back, which helps with the sacks. The kind of trying to move beforehand kind of helps. Like a quarterback should never drop back so far, then step up and look back to see if anybody coming, and then finish making his read. That's crazy. And to see him do that multiple times, like to actually turn his head and look to see if anybody behind him, that's wild.
He did it on the run too. He looked back, and I was like, "Why are you looking back, bro? Like, just run." But he felt the guy on him, I guess.
And after what he can't have too many more games like that. He can't. Nobody can hold up to that. Not even our Superman. He can't have too many more games like that.
You can tell he was frustrated too.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
He's pissed.
Most definitely. All right. So speaking of somebody who looked like he was pissed at, Derrick Henry. Are you worried about Derrick Henry's fumbles, especially since they come, a little later in the game, and how those swung momentum? Or do you think he's a fumbler now? We'll start with you, Jose.
It's funny. B asked me this last week. Was I concerned that he had 2 fumbles in a row? And I was like, no, man, I ain't worried about it. A little more concerned. A little bit more concerned. But honestly, even in last night's game, because my thing is this, bro, we put up 30 points. That should be enough, right? It should have been at a point where it didn't matter if he fumbled. The same thing I felt in the first game. I don't care about that he fumbled that late in the game. The game should have been out of hand anyway. And yes, this is a poor timely fumbled, but the game wasn't over yet. Yeah, the defense has to go out there and make another stop, and the offense, should have a chance to go out there and tie the game. But we shouldn't have been in a position to where that fumble hurt us. So I'm not that concerned. Overall, he's playing well, and I think he'll he'll fix the problem. I don't think there's going to be a long-term issue with him.
Yeah, it's rough for me. I think that, with him fumbling late in games and seeing that reaction that he had on the sideline yesterday, I mean, like the throwing his helmet and like damn near falling over the bench, I mean, like this is something that is clearly going to be mental for him going forward. And not only is it going to be mental for him, it's going to be a point of emphasis for defensive coordinators planning a Ravens week. You know what I mean? Like, hey, look, Derrick Henry, he's been fumbling. He's fumbled in every single game this year. So when you inevitably get behind that line of scrimmage, and you try to tackle him, put him in a position to punch it out, and that might cause Derrick Henry to kind of be a little bit uncharacteristic and a little bit less, I don't want to say aggressive, but just a little bit less himself when running the football. And
no, you're right. Less aggressive.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. And I don't want to talk too much about Keaton Mitchell and how I think that he needs to be an extra wrinkle that's added into this run game to kind of make things less predictable.
Agreed.
That's gonna be we can talk about that because I heard you guys kind of agree with each other. I'm on the other side. We let's get into that if you want to.
Okay.
So let me give my take and then you guys can rebut what I got to say about it. So obviously Keaton Mitchell is technically the fourth running back right now. So is Keaton Mitchell electric when he gets his hands on the ball? Yes, I agree. What special teams does he play? Kickoff return. He's not on kickoff. Rasheen Ali is obviously the guy that he's competing with for that spot. Rasheen Ali, I feel like he's not the explosive runner that Keaton is, but he runs the outside zone, which is an inside zone, which is what Keaton will get fairly well. He plays multiple special teams, kickoff return, and I want to say punt return. Keaton don't do all that. But even with all that being said, Keaton's pass pro is the worst out of the four backs. And so I would hate for a linebacker to come through and it's just him, Keaton, and Lamar. Because remember what Roquan did to that rookie last week that couldn't pass pro? And then the same thing what Hummel decided to do last week when he realized that the personal protector was soft. If they look at Keaton and just decide to run down his face, he's not going to block that. And then guess who's going to be hurt? I rest my case and y'all come back.
I hear what you're saying, but he can't get a few snaps. You know what I mean?
I mean, he could. You could have four running backs, but then that take away from what he loves, special teams.
I think it's just a matter of forcing the defense to have to look at different looks that the Ravens are going to put out there. Because right now, I think that 50% of the time, 60% of the time that Derrick Henry's on the field, whether it's first through third down, as long as it's manageable distance, ball is probably going to Derrick Henry. And we kind of got away from running the ball yesterday, especially in the second half. But I think it's just kind of like a catch-22 with Derrick Henry right now and Todd Monken knowing when and how to use him, because he is widely regarded as like the hammer, right? Everybody knows it's coming, so everybody is trying to prepare relentlessly to stop it. So I think if you add in an extra wrinkle like a Keaton Mitchell, and by the way, I don't think that Rasheen Ali had a pretty good return yesterday, cool, but I don't think that special teams, like being a special teams dude, is going to win the Ravens football games, right? I mean, for example,
I agree with you, but I think about who the coach is.
That's true, and that's my issue.
That's what kind of formulated my opinion. Thinking like, if it is me, Keaton, we playing 4 running backs, but I'm just in the mindset. I'm trying to figure out, and I ain't agreeing with Harbs. I'm just trying to put a why on why Keaton ain't, because I'm not saying he right. I'm just
special teams that's his baby. Special teams is his baby. So it's like he's going to, if he sees a guy who's damn good on special teams, even though he might not be, a good option on offense, he's probably going to lean towards the special teams guy. But I'll say this though, Jordan Stout, Ravens punter, had a pretty damn good day yesterday punting the football for the most part, right? But it didn't matter. I mean, he landed inside the 5, he landed at the 2, I think at the 4, something like that. And the Lions just marched right down the field. 95-yard drive, 98-yard drive. You know what I mean? So it's just like, as much as we value and as Harbs values special teams, again, I think we got to think like you actually think, Coach, like 4 running backs. Get Keaton Mitchell out on that field. You know what I mean? Because if we don't, what's the point in even having him? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. We saw what he was able to do in his rookie season. Sure. But we saw what he was able to do in his rookie season. At the very least, he could be a change of pace back. I'm not saying he needs 10 to 15 carries a game, but just
Right.
something different to kind of switch it up. And before you know it, he could pop one of these off, and then everybody's looking at each other stupid. Like, why don't we been have this guy on the field? So
True.
I don't know. I just feel like he deserves a shot. And special teams is not all what it's cracked up to be, but to Harbaugh, it is. And unfortunately, he's the head coach.
Mm-hmm. And I just want, because I know I was kind of passionate in my debate, but I would have him active. So I don't want y'all to think that I hate Keaton or dislike him. I'm just trying to let you guys know not know, but I'm assuming as to why he ain't being active, because John loves special teams, and I think Rasheen Ali played more special teams than Keaton, so he values that more. So I ain't, like I said, I don't hate Keaton. I want Keaton on there. I feel like you can get him 5 touches some kind of way, and he make you 70 yards out of them 5 touches, and then he'll be an extra person on your punt return, and you ain't got to use Justice Hill out there. But
and Coach, you actually unlocked that for me because me and Mike and Chris was having this conversation probably a couple weeks ago, with Keaton versus Ali, and we were trying to figure it out too. Like, is a few special team snaps worth not having that kind of explosion on the field?
That's a great question.
And we were talking about the different scenarios and stuff like that, and we were just trying to figure it out. But then I think I heard you mention this even last week about Ali and pass pro.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, that made it more of a really an even conversation, because if you trust him more in pass pro and he can give you more in special teams, I understand the decision. Again, I'm with you. I would have Keaton active, because when you look at it from the standpoint of Harb tried to explain it away as, well, when you put him on the field, it's a dead giveaway that there's a scheme touch to him.
Don't have to be.
Detroit plays pony personnel with Montgomery and Gibbs, and they do all types of stuff, have Amon-Ra in the backfield. You think they're worried about something being a giveaway or something?
Not at all.
Put 8, 22 and Keaton in the backfield and force a defensive coordinator to make a decision. To me, that's easy. That's easy football. That takes a lot of pressure off of everybody.
Just think about the triple out of that, and not necessarily the old school triple like the dive option stuff. You put Derrick on one side, Keaton on the other. Let Derrick be the main inside zone guy. If the end crashes on Derrick and Lamar keeps it, if they got an alley player for Lamar, then you got to pitch to Keaton.
Yep.
If the alley player runs to Keaton, you got Lamar run down the field. So 2 of them 3 options. Well, none of them 3 options you really want. And that's just basic inside zone, but you're just adding a triple on it. And you can even do it to where Derrick Henry's going left, so that way Lamar's pitching with his strong hand. And if you got a smart linebacker that feel like he's gonna take the pitch, if Lamar's man get blocked, what better person you want to run the ball other than Lamar?
Yeah.
So they just got to be more creative, man. And I'm a Todd guy, but like when I saw the Lions getting it with 3 backs in the backfield, they had Laporta, Gibbs, and Montgomery back there. How many plays you could run toss out of that? You could run power out of that. You can run zone out. You can run so much stuff out of that 3-back thing, and I ain't never even thought of it as far as in a line of them like that. That's just creative play calling.
And what you just displayed, you can run that with Ali, but the defensive coordinator isn't necessarily, changing anything about what he's going to do.
Right.
You run that with Keaton, his ears are perked up. He's going to make some adjustments. You may be able to run it once without him making an adjustment to it, but the second time, he's definitely going to make some kind of adjustment to it, and then you can play off of that adjustment.
Yep. And the thing with offense is the way offense is set up and the way defense is set up as far as scouting, if you just run it out there, if you just show it, the defense got to spend 5, 10, 15 minutes to prepare how they're going to handle it. So even if, like on one of the plays that you're going to fake trying to get them to jump off, if you give them some kind of exotic formation, the next team going to see that, and they got to spend 5, 15, 20 hours. Okay, how we going to stop this if they line up like this? So that's you just add more to their plate. So
yeah,
this just got to be more creative, completely.
Yeah,
but right,
like that guy.
So speaking of coaches, how did the coach decisions and play call in the fourth quarter help or hurt the Ravens' chances? We'll start with you, Who I hadn't started with? We'll go with Sutton. We'll go with Sutton.
Yeah, so I kind of talked about this earlier in the show, but I didn't really dive into it. And I really, really am interested to get you guys' opinions on this too, and the entire chat. But when the game was dwindling down, and I believe there was, I want to say like 4 minutes left, and the Ravens had gotten 4th and 9, and the Ravens punted the ball back, knowing damn well that the defense could not stop a runny nose all night. You know what I mean? And if you gave them the football back, they were probably going to go down and score. I didn't agree. Like in the moment, I agreed. Like, hey, give the ball to give it to the defense. Have them bring the game home. I know they haven't been performing well, but this is what you have the defense for, to make a big play and kind of redeem themselves. But in hindsight, which we always know is 2020, I do think that you kind of have to as a coach, as a John Harbaugh, you can't take things for what you want them to be or what they should be. Like you want the defense to make a big stop right here, to get a big turnover, to really swing the momentum back to the Ravens side. But everything in that game up until that point shows you that the defense just doesn't have it today. Mm-hmm. And it's quite clear and obvious because after the game, guys like Marlon Humphrey, who got up and made a podcast today, basically said in so many words, like, yeah, we were just kind of dumbfounded. We don't know what the answers are, what's next, what we necessarily did wrong. And like, that's an issue. That's an issue. If your defense is in that state, you have to kind of protect and hide your defense by using your offense as a defense. I tweeted this very early in the game. I said the best defense is a good offense. Mm-hmm. And I also talked about this on the first episode a couple of weeks ago on this very show. The Ravens were scoring pretty quickly. You know what I mean? They score pretty quick. So it's like they don't really do their defense any favors. So at the very end of the game, I think that John Harbaugh should have really taken stock. Okay, defense is worn out. They haven't been able to stop Detroit all game. They're probably demoralized. The offense has been responding pretty much all game. You know, they've made some miscues here and there, but they've been responding because we have Lamar Jackson. Put it in Lamar Jackson's hand. 4th and 9. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen with Lamar, right? But I wanted to get you guys' take on that. I mean, overall, the coaching, you know, it's one of those things that we know at this point where the incompetencies are at with this coaching staff, you know, like making adjustments and kind of switching the philosophy, making big overhauling changes when you're in a Super Bowl window just isn't their thing. They want to stick to what their thing is. So again, I want to get you guys' take on, did you agree with the Ravens punting the ball away with 4 minutes to go, 4th and 9, defense couldn't stop anything all night?
Go ahead, Kerry.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was on my mind too, Sutton, and I completely agree with you. Like, to me, it's one of those things where if Lamar is going to be your guy and you're putting all this stuff on him anyway, putting all this stuff at his feet, you don't want to you don't want to bring in any guards to help him. They're like, okay, well, you know, Lamar will fix it. You know, he doesn't need guards. So, you know, if you're going to put it all on him, then put it all on him. In that situation, again, you're giving the ball back to an offense that the defense isn't stopping. So, you know, from a probability standpoint, I'm going to give my all-world quarterback a chance to make a play. And if he doesn't make the play, he doesn't make the play. Hey, you know, we try to hold him where we are, hold him to 3 if we can. But no, like that's where situational coaching comes in and understanding the situation. And this is, you know, the second game so far this year that they haven't understood the situation. And that among all things is frustrating, especially considering, you know, some of the decisions they made with the roster.
You go, Jose, and I'll pin it up. You can go ahead.
No, I agree with Kerry, man. Look, this is John Harbaugh. This has always been John Harbaugh. He's always been a terrible situational coach. This predates the Lamar Jackson era. John Harbaugh is just Mike McCarthy wearing purple. And if you don't believe me, look at their resumes, and the records are very similar. I think Harbaugh has a few more wins than him now because he has a better quarterback. But up until about a year or two ago, they both got Super Bowl wins. They both got about the same amount of playoff wins. Like, I mean, very similar coaching careers. Harbaugh just benefited from having Lamar Jackson. But when you get into situations where you have just better coaches, Dan Campbell's just a better coach. I'm sorry. He understands the situational stuff a lot better than Harbaugh. He understands the moment a lot better than Harbaugh. And it shows throughout his coaching staff, right? Like, it's not just about his decision making. It's what is his offensive defensive coordinator doing out there. He replaced both of them, and they're still looking great.
Mm-hmm.
We have to unheard of. Yeah, we replace our defensive coordinator, and we look god awful. You know, that reflects the head coach.
As far as answering your question, Sutton, 4th and 9 makes it real tough to go for it. 4th and 5, no brainer. Anything other than that, no brainer. 4th and 5 make it real tough. But when you think about how easily they were getting yards, and I want to make sure I'm correct before I say this. Hold on, give me 1 second to look at it. Where is? Did I close it? I hope not. Oh, here it is. So it's 4th and 9. I just had it in my face. How much time was left? That's what I was trying to see.
I think it's like 4 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
Just
a little over 4 minutes.
So it's 4. Here it is. It's actually 5 something.
Okay.
Actually 5. When we got it, it was 4:29. It was 4:24. When that situation came up, it was 1:50. Oh, so it was under 2 minutes. And we had all 3 timeouts. Because at that point, you got to go. Even though
was
9
it 2
is,
minutes?
From what I'm looking at, I see a
2 minutes left and we punched.
No, I'm lying. I'm right. I'm on a different one. It's 4:32. It was 4:32 and a half. It was 4:32.
Okay.
They got it at 4:24, and we got it back under 2 minutes. That's what it was. We got it back under 2 minutes. So I was off on that. But with the way they was carving them up, you got to go for it. Now it worked out for him. It did work out for him because we got to stop. So we did get the timely stop that we needed to get the opportunity, to give the offense another opportunity. But that's 4th and 9 is tough. And even though I'm saying go for it, I'm still kind of second guessing me saying that because the way they was like we wasn't getting open, the way they was rushing the passer. 9 is a lot.
I can understand that. It's just a lot of the late game, and it's not just the coaching, it's the execution too. I mean, the Derrick Henry fumble, we talked about that earlier. That was absolutely huge. Losing the turnover battle is something that, whenever the Ravens lose the turnover battle, they lose the game, point blank period. They've lost the time of possession battle all 3 games, this year. Yeah. Of course, they won against the Browns, but like that's something that you also have to look at. And then also the fact that the run game has not been nearly as effective as it was cracked up to be. Week 1 kind of inflates the numbers right now because of what they did to the Bills. But ever since then, this Browns and Lions front has really, really slowed down the Ravens rushing attack. So overall, I think it all comes down to coaching again. And like my guy Jose said, like, we could talk about the coordinators all day till we're blue in the face. Todd Monken and Zach Orr, they got to do a better job. But at the same time, John Harbaugh, a fish rots from the head down. You know what I mean? Like, and John Harbaugh is the head of that fish, and he's kind of the only common denominator. And I saw Tila in the chat saying that this conversation, we've been having this conversation for years, is so repetitive and Harbaugh still doesn't get it. I think it also speaks to how comfortable the organization is. And this is kind of like an overarching thing, how comfortable the organization is with John Harbaugh. Yeah.
You're right. I feel like, to me, along that line, Bashadi, as long as his numbers is looking good, he good. Long as I'm in the black. Long as I come in the black.
Yep.
I want to read these stats for you. Okay. These are the 2 coaches right here. One coach, 288 wins, 174 losses. Okay. 2 ties. The other coach, 279 wins, 173 losses, no ties.
I'm gonna say Harbaugh is 88 because he got more years.
Nope, he is 279 wins, 173 losses. Mike McCarthy has a few, and they're both 18 years.
Okay.
Playoff record, 22-11, The other is 24-13.
22-11, 24-13. 22, I'm assuming is us, just because it's lower.
Nope.
I think
24-13 is Harbaugh.
Oh, okay.
24-13. And that's the Lamar Jackson difference right there.
Crazy.
Mike McCarthy.
You're right.
But see, that's the thing. Steve Bisciotti does not see it that way, like at all. You know what I mean? He actually even spoke about I remember I saw this a couple of weeks ago when I was watching his interview on the Lounge podcast, where he was speaking about, he wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants to win now, quote unquote, right? But Lamar Jackson is not even one of the guys who he wants to win it for primarily. These are Steve Bisciotti's words. He was like, there's so many other guys in the front office. Like, Lamar Jackson's not even at the front of my mind, even though if the Ravens were to win a Super Bowl, it would be in most part, because of what Lamar Jackson is able to do. So it kind of goes to show you right there where kind of Steve Bisciotti has his allegiance. I think he's more of like an upper, management front office guy. He loves him some John Harbaugh, loves Eric DaCosta, all those guys. And so I think they're just comfortable, man. They're just comfortable. And it's at the expense of, the players, and it's at the expense of the fans. But like you said, as long as Steve is in the black, he's all good.
Yeah. And this will be our last one right here. Try to find something, even in a loss. What positive takeaways are there? Mark Andrews stepped up. And what did you see that actually worked versus the Lions?
Man, those black uniforms still look great, man. Still look clean. Always bet on black. Okay. Mark Andrews stepping up. That's good. Yeah, I'll tell you quietly. I DeAndre Hopkins, still, reliable wide receiver. We need to get some conversions. Hopkins, we know is reliable. I like that Bateman stepped up in this game as well. We just gotta figure out how to get that side of the ball moving a little bit more, like in those situations, like not to stall out. I mean, I can't even fault the offense too much. They scored 30 points. As bad as of a day they had, they still put up 30 points. I would say that's the positive. As bad of a day as they had, they still put up 30 points, which should be enough to win the game. True.
Gary?
Man, I'm just gonna say experience, man. Like, because I really can't pull anything else. But what I will say as far as the defense, you can't be old and bad. You got to pick one or the other. So right now they're bad, but Mike Green and Aeneas Peoples, they're getting reps right now. They're taking classes, and we need a pass rush university.
Well, so, since you're going there, add the other two too. They play Starks and Buchanan.
Yeah. So you got Teddy taking on a full-time role. I mean, he's pretty much housed that job now. So the hope is those players are gaining valuable experience now, and there's an upward trajectory in their play going forward. Because I say this all the time, you can have as much experience as there is. Sometimes there's a play that needs to be made, and you may know where to get to make that play, but your body physically can't get there anymore. And so you have to try to find that balance between I know where to go and can't get there, as opposed to I can get there. Now somebody may have to show me the way, and I may have to, bump my head a few times, weeks 1 through 6 or 7, before I'm able to get there consistently. But when I know exactly where I need to be at, I'm gonna be able to get there and make the play. Yep. So, short of them, finding a pass rusher and in the trade market, which they really should be doing, all of this is very, very helpful for them towards the end of the season. And these guys are getting the reps that they're getting right now.
Sudden?
Yeah, for me, I don't have any positive takeaways from this one, to be honest with you. I do like what Kerry said. I mean, if anything, it's a lesson. If you don't want to look at it as just a straight up loss, even though it counts on the record. We're 1-2. But it is a big lesson early on in the season, and it's kind of like a wake-up call, especially since it happened on national television at the bank, black uniforms and all, and you just got trounced. It was embarrassing. So I think that there should be like a refocusing, and I don't know how many times we're going to have to say this, and how many times the Ravens are going to have to get knocked off the horse to realize like, hey, maybe I should stop getting knocked off the damn horse and like actually stay straddled on this time. You know, it's just a mental thing for me. But I will say this. I'm gonna say this. All Ravens fans right now should be holding their breath on this Nnamdi Madubuike news about his neck. You know, because they haven't told us anything about that. They haven't revealed any more details about that. But if this ends up being something where he's out for an extended period of time, and all of a sudden the game plan is to just double Travis Jones, and Travis Jones, I think, got a little banged up in yesterday's game too. I think he'll be okay, but I think he did leave the game.
Yo, I'm gonna say this: don't look for 9-8 no time soon.
It's one of those, huh? Yeah. See,
I know a few people now. Don't look for 9-8 too soon. I know a few people now. I'm just saying, don't look for him no time soon.
Well,
dang, so what did Travis Jones hurt?
Somebody said he didn't play but 20 snaps earlier, but when I looked at it, he played 35. Travis probably just tired.
Yeah, I saw Jeff Zrebeck tweeted during the game, and he said that Travis Jones that came out the game, he appeared to be injured, so I didn't know if it was like something severe. But when it comes to Madubuike, though, that's the one I'm really holding out for, you know. And you were talking about Travis Jones, right? You weren't talking about Madubuike, just so we can get that straight.
That you might not see.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant 92. I apologize.
You meant 92. Okay.
I meant 92. I'm sorry. I said 9-8, but I meant 92. My bad.
Gotcha.
I meant 92.
Yes, sir.
I meant 92. My bad.
Ooh,
my bad,
well,
Chad.
that's tough, man. That's a tough break. I mean, it's just, I don't know how the Ravens recover after what we saw last night and how the Lions were just able to run all over us. I my confidence level is kind of plummeting right now. It is, and it's one of those things. He was probably one of the least or the most ill-afforded losses we could afford to have. You know, we just couldn't afford to lose a Nnamdi Madubuike. He would have to be top 5 on that list for me. You know, just because of what he does, plugging up the run and also rushing the pass from the interior like that. That's a super rare trait that most guys don't have. So losing him is huge, man. I don't really know how the Ravens plan on replacing him.
As far as me, few things, and I'm adding one because of what Kerry said. The experience that those rookies are getting right now, like their foot is in the 5 versus the best of the best in the NFL. So if they don't learn from these first 5 to 6 games, they may not be NFL quality anyway. Because when I say they are literally being thrown into the fire, you had 4 rookies on the field at one time last night. You had Peoples at a 3, you had Mike Green on the edge, you had Teddy Buchanan at one of the backers, and Malachi Starks. You had 4 rookies on the field on defense. 4. That third game ever. And that's what? 11? So it ain't half. It's about 30, somewhere between 30 and 35% of your defense was rookies. I like them getting that experience now, and hopefully by week 8, 9, and 10, they ain't rookies no more. And they can start, taking every lesson, applying it, and just not doing it again and getting better at it. They can play faster. They ain't thinking as much. I didn't seen this before. I know what to do. So hopefully that's what happens with them, and I think that's a plus. Now I will give Mark regular season. Mark showed up, so that's a positive for me.
Yeah,
regular season Mark showed up. I think if Likely comes back, that's going to amplify Mark even more because them two together are tough. As much as we don't like Mark for what he did, but them two on the field together is tough. And I like the fact that Lamar is just competing. He's just still competing. Did he play a perfect game? No. Still threw 3 touchdowns, still on pace for ungodly numbers. So Lamar is my other, positive, because that dude right there is just he never ceases to amaze me.
But
There's
Lamar
no way.
seemed fed up with the coaching too, though.
Oh yeah, there's no way we should have been in that game yesterday, and we still had a chance. And we was talking about that, before we fired it up. That the way they bludgeoned us with the run, that should have been 42-8.
Yeah,
an 18 play drive, 10 minutes, 98 yards. That's almost a whole quarter. That's like you playing Madden or something on against online, and you play a guy that just run the clock, and you don't give 1 possession and a half. That's what that was.
Yep.
And
they were never uncomfortable the whole night.
True.
That's hard. It's hard for them to only lose the game by one score when you have a good offense with a coach that we trust, and the Ravens defense never made them uncomfortable the whole night, and to still, put up 30 and make it a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a silver lining because, I mean, you got road graded. So there's no silver linings in getting run over like that. But it's a testament to what Lamar is, because some of the throws he made were just silly throw, because he's not comfortable in the pocket. And so some of those throws that you saw that were off is because, he can't be solid in his base and transfer weight.
Mm-hmm.
So he's out there like, oh, okay, well, this throw is here. I can't step up into the throw, so I'm going to flick it. And I mean, some of those throws were just sick, man. Like, it's incredible what that dude can do.
Yeah.
That pass, the one to Mark, the touchdown. That's a dime like nothing I hadn't seen this year.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But you see what IB is saying in the chat. He just put up a super chat donation. He said, serious question, has Lamar Jackson outgrown the Ravens? And that's kind of what I was talking about before. I mean, and I saw my guy Killer Cam the Baptist talked about it in the chat. He was like, you saw how pissed off Lamar Jackson looked like directly after offensive play calls. You know what I mean? Like, It's just, I don't know if there's a lack of trust. I don't know if it's the fact that, like, Jose was saying earlier, back in the day, we had Ed Reed and Ray Lewis to kind of really stand up to the coaches when they didn't like something, right? They would like basically be like, no, we're gonna do this instead, and we'll see if it works out. And sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But Lamar Jackson doesn't really seem like the type to really put his foot down like that. And so him, I guess you could say, for lack of better words, kind of pouting a little bit, towards the sideline in between plays. That definitely concerns me, man, because you don't want a frustrated Lamar Jackson on top of everything, because that's going to force him to press a lot more. And I feel like that can hurt the offense. So I don't know. You got to get him settled. Offensive line has to be better, of course. I thought that he played a better game yesterday than some of the earlier games, weeks 1 and 2. But overall, man, I'm concerned about Lamar. I'm concerned.
I agree with you, especially not necessarily his play, but his mental state. The mental state. Because if he get into a mode where, F y'all, I got to do it myself, that ain't, as much as good as he is, the team got to help him. And like I said that before the season, everybody talking about what Lamar needs to do better. No, F that. What you gonna do better?
Mm-hmm.
He done did enough. 2-time MVP. And I'm still gonna say it, the best quarterback in the league right now. Somebody may, some other teams may feel that guy is, but for what he's having to go through with a terrible O-line, everybody that you say is like one of the best quarterbacks, if you like your big 5 quarterbacks, all of them got decent O-lines except for 2, Lamar and Pat. So they're doing more with less. And what really scares me is both of them fighting to not be 1 and 3 this week coming up. This is gonna be a dog fight.
Yeah.
Because 1 and 3 might be a curse. Like 1 and 3, you might be picking early. So this game Sunday at 3:45 or whatever, 4:45. This is gonna be a dog fight, and they got Chris Jones and we don't.
Shoot, I mean, at this point, I'm looking at the likes of Isaiah Pacheco. You know what I mean? I know that the Chiefs haven't really been good at running the ball, but based off of what I saw last week, if the Ravens can't stop it, I could see Pacheco going off, and that would be even more demoralizing. Yeah,
the Chiefs are better at guard center guard than the Lions.
Yeah.
The Lions got better tackles, but guard center guard, the Chiefs better.
Yeah.
They got probably number 1 center in the league, and they got like the number 2 or 3 guard in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be in for a whole bunch more duo. We'll see. Like Hart said, Roquan might get exposed again. He might, but they just got to fix some stuff, man. They just can't take it like that again. And it's if you lose, you just can't lose a certain way, and that ain't the Ravens standard to lose. If somebody just beat you and with some stuff like what Josh Allen did, that's one way.
Yeah.
But you just got it's like they ran it. They
manhandle.
spammed the same play. They spammed duo, and we didn't change nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So that is, hey, it's where's that number? I just saw it. It's 277 in here. Hey, hit the like button, please. We only have 125 likes. 277. Hit the like button and get everybody else some more talent points. But before we do that, Kerry, your crew, y'all 2 for 2. We going for 3 for 3 this week?
We working on it, man. I can't really say with certainty this week it's gonna happen, but we definitely working on it. You know, we've been on an illustrious streak, so far. We're gonna try to keep it going, but you know, time may not permit this week. But if not this week, we'll be right back at you.
TBD.
Yeah.
TBD.
There we go.
TBD.
There we go.
Sutton, what y'all got coming up?
We're actually getting ready to go live here in 15 minutes over at the
Okay.
Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel.
Nice.
So yeah, if you guys want to come through, come through.
Fall right through.
Yes, sir.
I should have linked it in there, but it's kind of too late now because we're about to end it. Jose, we know what time y'all slot come, but for the those that don't know, let them know.
Yep, 7:45 on Wednesday, the LBHT show, and then you can stay around for the overtime show that you can find on our patreon.com/LBHT show. We've been having some good topics. Coach he came through last week. We had a good talk about coaching these kids and what's acceptable for these kids and what's not acceptable, behavior. It was a fun conversation. So come check us out.
Osmond said, it's all in the description. I linked everybody's channel in the description. It's Deep Cover Podcast. I linked everybody, but most of their stuff is audio. They do have some stuff like on YouTube, but most of their stuff is audio. So when they put stuff out, it's like on iTunes and Spotify. And is it on anything else other than those two, Gary?
All the major ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So their podcast is, I'd say 75% audio. Occasionally when I come over there, they do video because they know I like video.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's audio, and it's you won't be disappointed if you haven't discovered. Just if you Osmond, go back and listen to last week and the week before that, and you'll probably go back and listen to some more. It's good like that, especially with them three on there and football junkies.
Yes, sir.
Football junkies. So, I need a favor, and I normally don't ask y'all to do nothing. The second channel, which is more Sip the Tally, and granted, it ain't Raven centric; it's just football centric. But I'm at my subscribers, so I didn't meet the subscriber mark. I need watch hours. So if you just want to watch good football, ain't necessarily Ravens wise, you want to see good football to get your mind off this crap we watched yesterday, go over to More Sip the Tally and just hit the playlist and watch some people playing real good football and not over here with us playing bad football. I have some bad football to show you tomorrow. I'll show you some bad football tomorrow.
That film study coming.
Right. Any closing remarks? Because I'm good. I'm tapped out. Anything y'all want to say to people before we get out of here?
I'll jump in. I'll say one thing. What's so crazy is, despite all of this, I think they still lead the league in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And we just finished talking about what Lamar is. With all of that said, like, again, their peak is as good as just about anybody's peak. They still have a shot. They have some stuff they have to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they have the people in the building to fix it is another question that, we don't know the answer to right now. But at the very least, they have Lamar. They have some reinforcements coming back on offense. They'll be able to score. It's gut check time, man. Pretty much on the defense. If you can pare this thing down and just become sound, XO, tackle, pursuit angles, all of that stuff. If you can clean some of that stuff up, it don't have to be perfection, but if you can clean it up enough, like Jose said, make the key stop when it's time to make it. You don't have to be locked down. We're not asking for, the 85 Bears or some of these great Ravens defenses. Just do enough so that what Lamar is doing right now doesn't go in vain.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Did she good, son?
Yeah, I'm gonna just say these couple words right here. You got to force turnovers against playoff caliber teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it boils down to. And it seems like the Ravens have such a hard time doing that. I don't know if it's because They play cautious. They feel like they're on a huge stage when they're playing the likes of, the Chiefs or the Bills or the Lions, you know what I mean? But like, that's something that really needs to be more of a point of emphasis. And I know it was going into the season, but I haven't seen it yet.
True.
Plus it's against a bad team, so they got to fix that.
And this felt like a playoff game. Last thing, I forgot about this. Some people they be DMing me saying I need to get like different people on and try to get people to talk to people. I just want to let y'all know I be shooting my shot in the background, just in case y'all did. This was like 6 weeks ago. So just don't think I'll just be over here idle. I be trying. So, she just, I don't know if she didn't see it, didn't respond, I wasn't big enough or whatever. But I shoot my shot that y'all just don't see me shooting. Let
me find out who her agent is. We got to talk to her people. All right.
Keep shooting.
Hey, I'm gonna keep shooting in the background. I'm gonna keep Steph Curry. But this one was more like what's the dude that was on there with Gilbert and them that shot the three and turned around and rimmed out?
Nick Young.
Nick Young. That was more like Nick Young right there. Rimmed out. On that note, that's a week 3 episode of Ravens Roundup. I appreciate you guys for joining. Somebody asked where Chris was. He got stuck at work. And make sure you go over. And I filibustered a little while, so y'all can just click on over to PRP. They ready. They're getting set up, and that's where you need to go ASAP. So I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all in the chat box, and I'll see y'all next week, man. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace.